Hey, Christy.
All right, you ready now?
All right, this is the regular meeting for the Water Commission of Harpers Ferry, Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. Until further notice, the Corporation of Harpers Ferry's governing and deliberative bodies will hold meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during the public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch meetings by YouTube video live stream or listen by telephone. These options comply with the Open Governmental Meetings Act. Okay, is Laurel here yet? No.
She is not.
Okay, Christy.
Laura, Robert's.
Here she comes.
Robert's volunteered. Oh, wait, if Laurel's gonna be here, she can do the minutes.
Yep, she just letting her in now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Give me a sec. There we go. There she is.
All right. So I'll call this meeting to order. And our first up, we have the approval of minutes from the September and October meetings. So I think we go in chronological order. Does anybody have any recommended changes, or has everyone had a chance to review the September meeting minutes? I know I sent them out today.
I'm sorry, Dale, what was the question again?
I sent out draft minutes for September today.
I thought they looked good.
Okay. Christy, do you have any changes?
I wasn't there.
Okay. Well, I remembered to put recording.
I didn't listen to it. If I'm not there, I'm not listening to it.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's just down to Laurel and I. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for September 2021?
I will so move.
All right, seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All
I'm
those
sorry,
opposed?
my camera's not working. I don't know why. It has always worked. I have to do something.
Well, we can hear you at least. Okay, October 2021 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those?
I sent them out November 1st.
Yes, I made a comment and you made a change in it, I think, Christy.
Okay, so as, do I hear a motion to approve the October 2021 minutes?
I move that we approve the October 20 minutes.
Second. All those in favor?
All right,
All those opposed? All right. The motion carries. The next regular meeting is December 15th, 2021. And once again, a reminder for everyone to use watercommission@harpersferrywv.us for all correspondence. And this evening we have a guest, David, I'm going to butcher this, Gigniliat.
David, can you help us with the pronunciation of your name?
You don't appear to be muted, David, but we are not able to hear you. Your mic, maybe your.
Now he's muted.
Okay, try it. There you go. No, I still can't hear you. That's weird.
Okay.
It might be something with your mic on the device that you're using. Access to the mic, so to give that a shot, maybe we'll swing back around.
Sure. Okay. So when we'll get back to introductions when he's able to, when we're able to hear him. And our water clerk is a bit under the weather, so we will let her go ahead and knock it out and go back to resting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. So, and I apologize. I'm a little, just, not that I'm not prepared, but I don't have my thing in front of me. So we didn't do, shut-offs for, yet this month. We were going to do them today. And then, I had, my emergency visit to the dentist, and it ended up that Sean had to be in a class today. So if the folks that do not pay by in the morning that are going to be shut off tomorrow, there are 3, and they are not people that I would think are skip outs. They probably are just busy and have forgotten the 5 reminders that I've given them. And so they'll be shut off tomorrow and then probably turned back on once they realize. So there's only 3 of those. I sent out the new spreadsheet that Sean and I have been working on, the 0 usage meters. I find it to be very interesting in that he replaced a lot of broken meters this month, but there were still some that, we had more broken meters this month than we did last month. So that data I am finding to be very interesting. We also have a few more vacancies this month, but just yesterday alone, I processed 5 new move-in people that have moved in. So that might take care of that up in the vacancies. As far as inserts, I don't have any right now for the December bills, unless anybody thinks of something that they want to do.
I'm sorry,
I don't
would
have
you say
any.
that again? Angie, what
I
was the
don't
last
have
thing?
any inserts for December,
Oh, okay.
for the
right.
December bills, unless anybody, wanted to do one, like, about the reminders about frozen pipes and that
I
sort
was
of
thinking
thing.
the same thing.
I've already had customers calling and asking, about, what we thought they could do to help keep, their old
Disconnect the
pipes
water
from bursting.
hoses. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I know that's starting to be on people's minds. And then the only other thing I have is that customer on Old Furnace. Steyer was very diligent about, checking her meter a lot. So I'll just need to know what the commission wants me to do as far as her $4,000 charge.
Do we have a log of her daily usage somewhere?
Yeah. So he literally had to pump the meter pit out. And some days when it was pouring down rain or what, he didn't necessarily get a reading every single day, but he got a reading quite a bit in the last 22 days. He started on November 1st is when I installed it, and anyway, I left it at the plan. I apologize for that, but it's only been like 17 days since we installed it. And what wasn't it, Angie? Didn't I gave you the date, the date of start, and I thought it was November 1st, but it and the time frame that I've had that meter in the ground, it's only used like 813 gallons, point such and such, 0.000. So she hasn't used any more water. Obviously the meter's not moving. We see no signs of any leaks or any, there was no high usage or high burst or anything like that throughout the times that Sean had checked it. And the least amount that he checked it was like 2 or 3 times on a week, and sometimes it was 5 days in a row. So
Meter was installed on the 21st, I think, October 21st.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I meant to bring that with me, and I didn't bring it home with me. But there's no signs of activity that anything's going wrong, and it goes par with her normal history. She has months that she uses 800, and she had months that she used a couple thousand, and then of course we have those 2 times where once in a year, was it a year ago? It was a little over,
it was
back
She
in
had a
June.
20,000,
last
a
December.
14,000, and then 126,000.
Mhm.
Are we concluding that those instances of the extremely high off the wall usage was due to the water softener being connected incorrectly?
The only thing I can tell you is I went there personally. The water softener was indeed not functioning properly. She plugged it in, and I got to watch 3.33 gallons per minute go through that meter. We did the math, and if you did the math, it at 3 gallons a minute, it came up, and if it was to run 24/7 for 30 days, it come up to like 129,500 gallons. They're almost identical to the amount of water that she used that previous or that month. However, she's saying that she disconnected the softener prior to that.
Yeah, she said she disconnected it around August 15th.
So I have no more,
And the
there's nothing else I can say.
3.3 is an attractive number for our math, but that wouldn't account for any normal usage. So, it would have just have been running by itself. And it's connected correctly. I'm not sure that whether it's functional or not. But it is still unplugged.
Yeah, she had to unplug it because it's no longer, she caught it and it was continuously running, and that's why she turned it off.
Yep, and she filled it with salt first, which makes it hard to work on.
Yes. Oh, okay, you saw it too, but you went there that
Oh yeah,
Sunday
no.
as well.
I spent a fair amount of time with her. We looked at all the different, wherever all the water comes in and goes out, and looked at how it's set up, and because you ran it for just a minute or two, right?
We basically timed it. We went out there. She looked at the meter while I hit the stopwatch, and we got it down to the.
Based on what I saw, and having spoken with her at length, I find it difficult to attribute that conclusively to the water softener.
Okay.
And so, I don't, if you look at the water softener itself, it's a very compact, has a very small reservoir, and the reservoir is completely full of salt. So filling at that rate over time would overwhelm the thing, and it doesn't have, its drain pipe can't handle that kind of outflow, so it couldn't just pass through.
It wouldn't have shot straight into the sewer like it's designed, like they're designed.
No. Well, the drain off the side would have blown off with a full 3 gallons a minute flow straight through.
Well, three gallons a minute isn't that much. I mean,
Well,
it isn't like, is it?
Well, the way it's piped, the way that drain
Okay.
pipe goes
small-
and goes up, it would inflate the pipe. It would come out of the, it would fully distend the pipe because it's a small flexible hose. And so it would be
Okay.
hard to imagine it not, having some sort of
Busting.
overflow. Yeah. So I'm inclined to think that, we probably have to do either a leak adjustment or some sort of, we have to work something out for her.
I would agree with that.
Because
Yeah,
there's just finding a conclusive reason has so far been
Futile, and I
yeah.
don't think we're gonna find one.
Christie.
Has she had a plumber in to look at it?
I do not know.
'Cause my understanding is our leak adjustment requires it that they
Correct.
have a plumber come in and look at it.
And I told her that. So if we're going to give her an adjustment, it will have to be contingent on a plumber. I don't know that the plumber's going to find anything either, to be honest, which is, leaves us back with the, what do we do in this situation? So
If you don't mind, I would like to continue to keep that meter in there. And if there is a situation that does occur again, we can at least have the data. You know what I'm saying? We could see when it happened, at what time it happened, and how much, if you,
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Since we've already got it there, we might as well utilize the granular historical data. I would also, is there a way we can help that meter pit drain on its own?
right? It's in such a horrible spot. It's the only, the main sits right there. I really, I'll ask Ron, I'll ask Spanos and see if anybody, because Ron's done some work around there with
Well, there's
drain,
a culvert not 4 feet away
right?
that we could tap that canister and then run off. But we can talk about that later. But I think that's something that would also be good for
Yeah.
us to look into. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess we're at the point where you'd like us to consider what to do here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm open to suggestions. I think that any leak adjustment should be contingent on getting a plumber, although I have reservations about whether they'll find anything, given that we've covered this pretty well. But that is part of our requirement. And I think we should follow our leak adjustment protocols generally. Laurel, Christie?
I think she needs to have a plumber come in and say that he finds nothing.
Yeah, I agree. The plumber has to, that's what we require. We don't know how it's connected and if it's connected correctly, and she needs to rule that out.
Okay.
And also the plumber doesn't need to look just at the water softener. The plumber would look at everything. So that's what
Correct.
she needs.
And Christie commented, I want to say it was last time we talked about this, that she's got a pretty long line from the house to the meter. And, if there was the fact that it's no longer happening suggests that it may not be that, but there could be an intermittent problem on that line too. So, doing a full analysis beyond what we typically would do for a customer that a plumber would provide would be a good idea. So I guess at this point, I don't know that we really need to have a motion on this. I think that the step is to advise her about the leak adjustment protocol and that she's got to get a plumber, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. I will do that.
You comfortable with that, Angie?
Yeah. Mhm.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
This has
Okay.
been on, this has been
Anything
on our
else?
plate for a while.
Do you have anything
Okay.
else, Angie?
I think that's it, unless anybody has any questions for me.
I have good wishes for you and hope you feel better soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I get to see the endodontist on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh,
So,
boy.
Nice. Nice.
yeah, but hopefully these antibiotics will at least make it where it's not hurting so bad for the next week. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I really do.
We'll save some turkey for you.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I may be just eating cranberry sauce on Thursday, but that's okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. Then if you don't have any other questions for me, I'm going to go ahead and skip out.
Do so
Okay.
and
Back
feel
to
better,
bed.
Angie.
Bye,
Thank
Angie.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Do we have, David, do you have sound yet?
I think I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can.
First order of business is, can we get the correct pronunciation of your last name?
Certainly. It's Ginolette.
Wow, I really did
Ginolet.
butcher it. Ginolet.
Ginolet.
Okay.
Ginolet.
Well, welcome to our Water Commission meeting. If you'd like to, kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great if you're comfortable.
Sure. Lived in Bolivar for about a year and in the Panhandle for about 2 years. I lived in Charlestown and I guess I moved here in summer 2021. I grew up in Northern Virginia, born and raised in Woodbridge in Prince William County. University of Virginia graduate. Work-wise, I kind of freelance in a variety of things. I'm an assistant manager at the Rabbit Hole restaurant in Lower Town, Harpers Ferry. And then I do some freelance work for magazines and newspapers throughout the region and some at-home home office sort of work for a construction company in Northern Virginia. I live right down the street from Town Hall and the community center. I live above the Anvil restaurant. And I'm just fallen in love with the community here and was looking for an opportunity to participate a little more further. And while retrieving my mail at the post office, I saw this opportunity and applied, submitted a letter of interest, and then attended last week's town council meeting in Bolivar, and kind of brings me to where I am today.
Well, we're glad to have you. Does anybody have any questions for David?
Are you feeling better, David?
Yes, I am. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I had tested positive for COVID-19 a little over a week ago, and have since tested negative in the last 24 hours, and was vaccinated in June, but I guess a breakthrough case. But yeah, feeling better and kind of getting caught up on some things, and I'm glad I was able to get into the meeting tonight.
Fantastic. Do you have any questions for us?
I think I'm kind of just listening and taking it all in. I've spent some time on the Water Commission website and going through archives of meetings and minutes and reports, and there's obviously a tremendous amount of information readily available there, and then educating myself. So I think I'm more of probably better served at listening and kind of gathering information, and I'm sure I'll have hundreds of questions as things go along.
As you go, well, be sure to be comfortable asking whatever questions you have. The way this works from here is the Water Commission will make a recommendation to the Harpers Ferry Town Council, and then the Harpers Ferry Town Council will officially make the appointment. And you're welcome to stay for the meeting and listen. If you have questions in between now and the next time we're all together, feel free to email any of us or call any of us and ask away. We very much want to get you up to speed and informed about what's going on.
Don't forget about the tour. I still owe you a tour.
Yes, I'm definitely gonna take you up on that. Should I attend the Harpers Ferry Town Council meeting that I think would be before the next December 15th meeting?
Yes.
Okay. And are they
Okay.
doing those meetings in person, or would it be a similar Zoom webinar?
The town council's been doing something of a hybrid. They're meeting in person, but they also have a Zoom function. That may be a game time decision, so it'll probably, we'll let you know in the invite which it is, but I assume if they follow their practice, it'll be Zoom accessible, but you'll be looking at, instead of like Hollywood Squares windows here, you'll be looking at one window with all of them in it. And then, I've attended their town council meetings by Zoom. So last time I went in person, but generally I Zoom when I can. I don't want to break through. We certainly don't want to take out the town leadership with everybody out sick. So, but I'll reach out to you before then to give you the lowdown on how that goes.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sure. Chris Steyer, Water Superintendent. Are you
Yes,
ready?
sir.
All right.
I am. All right. The water loss for the month of October was at 32.12%. On October 11th, Church Street had a major leak. It was repaired the next day. I was able to calculate we lost 783,646 gallons of water for the month. Our water loss was at 32.12%. Our average for the year is at 16.43%. The leak created a water loss increase of 15.69%. The construction is going slow due to lack of manpower, which we're resolving, and constant scheduling changes due to water loss last month, and also construction issues. But we're all working hand in hand to keep things going. We were able to repair several leaks, one service line leak and one illegal hookup of a frost-free hydrant that was also leaking and unmetered. We removed it completely. Apparently it's been there for years. We had no idea that it was unmetered. Customer called in and said that they had this leaky hydrant, and when Chris Spanos got there, he saw that the meter wasn't moving, yet we had this hydrant there. So the hydrant, which that you can hook up a spigot to, or a garden hose to, it's for an outside spigot. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. It sticks out of the ground, has a handle on it. It's called a frost-free hydrant. So it turns out that connection for the frost-free hydrant was on the other side of the meter, our side of the meter. And we would have had no way of knowing that, but it was back behind the house, been there, I don't know for how long. This is a place that's had high turnover, so we don't even know who actually could have possibly done this, or if they even knew what they were doing when they hooked it up. Like I don't even know if it was deliberate. So we've removed it.
Chris, so let me get this straight. Somebody went at some point in the past, we don't know who,
Mhm.
went and put in a frost-free hydrant on a section of Harpers Ferry pipe that was not even on their own pipe.
Yeah,
And so they were getting water free.
yes, someone was definitely getting water free. Again,
Wow.
if you saw the location of where this meter is, it's right up against the house, or really close to the house and the foundation. And not giving the benefit of the doubt here, but the person could have easily dug, thinking that he was connecting to the actual, thinking that he was connecting to the main or
To the metered
to his,
line.
to the metered line. I could see where that was a possibility.
Wouldn't the
So-
meter, please educate me, wouldn't the metered line be a lot smaller than the line it connects it to?
No. It's a
They're the same
3/4 inch line.
size?
Yeah, it's a 3/4 inch line.
So that there's a 3/4 inch line from the main, and then the line to the house is also 3/4 inch.
Yes, and
Okay.
and this is a weird water main. It's not your typical going down the street. This is back behind a house. If it feeds between two other houses. Don't ask me. It was done a
Okay.
long time ago. Why they hooked these houses up this way, I have no idea. But
Okay, well, thank you.
Um,
I just find that, I'm just, wow.
I mean, me
I
too.
think David has his hand up.
Okay, David. David,
David, there we go. I think it might have just been
Oh,
accidental when
okay.
he muted himself.
Okay, so this week we repaired a rather large leak on East Spring Street and put the service in for a new Cambridge Street house, which I also just recently did a water test for, to clear the main, to make sure that the main was actually back T safe. Sludge update. Alvarez was able to get the measurements for the valves in the sludge pit. This was a big deal for all of us. It bought us more time with the sludge. They put a steel plate in the pit so it would section off the valves. Then we pumped the sludge to the other pit to get it down to the valves. This was a process, man. We all worked really hard at this. It was a success. We are continuing to pump sludge out with Oscar, the sludge remover. The drop in temperature will cause delays in the pumping of sludge. Oscar does not perform well when it goes below 40, we found out. But we're still, because the days get warm up, we're still able to wait in the mornings and run Oscar in the afternoons. So the request for a proposal for removal, transport, and disposal of the post-processing sludge can be found on the website for viewing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Lab work has become more time consuming because I'm now testing for heavy metals in our sludge. Before this year, I was only testing, during a quarter, I had 3 major sets of testing I had to do. I'm now up to 5. Because I'm now testing for heavy metals in our sludge. The reporting to the DEP has also been added to as well. We are now testing for aluminum in the Elk Run quarterly. For further explanation of why I'm now testing, we will probably require executive session. There has been no aluminum found in the elk run. This is just a new precautionary test that the State Health Department engineer Alan Marchin recommended me to do. I was also informed on Monday, November 15th, that the doors have arrived for installation. I was informed today that the carpenter for my front door that right now has a padlock on it because the old lock finally died. He's gonna try to install it tomorrow. So I'll have an actual official door. So I'm happy about that. We currently are using a padlock. This will replace the door equipped with a deadbolt. Also, this week, we will be repaired by RD, we will get repaired by the gate by RD Fence. The mayor pushed this through for security reasons. On November 15th, 2021, we had our first preliminary sequence of controls meeting for the new SCADA system with the coders from Paul and all the other computer programmers that are designing our SCADA system. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control System. The meeting was 3 hours long. It might have been 2 hours, but it felt like 3. And went over all the new control operations, the new SCADA system. I've attached a primary sequence of controls report. I thought you guys may be interested. If you look on that report that I sent you out, it basically describes every last detail of every function that we do now and will be doing in the future with add-ons with the new membrane filtration system. It literally goes over every detail, what's going to be on the screens, if hookups for being able to monitor it on the smartphone to get readings on like things as turbidity and chlorine, simple readings. But it's pretty interesting. I know it's complex, but I just thought, you guys may want to take a look at it. It basically summarizes my entire job. My entire work operation is summarized in that report. So
Okay,
that's all I got. Any questions?
You said that they were able to get some measurements is so that because they needed to, Alvarez needed the measurements because they are, they're planning to what
valves, replace the old valves that are currently not working.
Okay.
Yeah, they needed to get the measurements so they could order them because there's a considerable backlog and they needed to get as soon as possible their order in. So they needed the dimensions in order to be able to place the
Okay.
order.
Good.
Yeah,
But we still, is it still correct that we need to get the sludge out before winter, before the really cold weather? Is that correct?
That question is it. I don't think the main concern for getting out before winter was getting the valves down so we could get the measurements. Getting out the sludge now, we have a little more time on because we did get the measurements, but we still need to get it out.
Well, I think what you have said to me in the past, and so I want to make sure I understand this, is that it becomes difficult to remove the sludge once the hard winter gets here.
Yes, it
So
does.
if we need to, so if we don't get it done by the time the really cold weather comes, then we'll have to wait till the spring. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one of the vendors told me that the DEP doesn't permit it for that particular one. at once it drops below a certain temperature. So it's contingent on DEP regulations as well, and what they decide is appropriate for.
Chris, are you aware enough of the schedule for construction to know when we absolutely have to have the sludge out of there?
I'm
Like a date?
Because of all the delays, Bill, I really don't know.
Okay. Well,
Anymore.
we have a progress meeting tomorrow where we can ask that. I just wanted to know if
Yes.
you knew.
No,
Okay.
no. It's a valid question, and I used to know, but things have changed in the COVID world,
Okay, that's fine. I
Mhm.
just wanted to, so the gate is going in next week.
Yes, it actually, and I was gonna wait till I saw it was on the agenda. I was gonna wait and talk about it then, or we can talk about it right now. Yeah, it's the post is supposed to be being set this week. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to be set today, but I didn't see him today. So, he said this week or next week. So,
Okay, so that work's already under contract and ready to go.
yes, sir.
Okay, good, because that's important.
Yes, I agree. So we're gonna have a gate and a fence, hopefully by the end of next week.
Okay. All right,
Or, I mean, a gate and a door by the end
Right.
of next week.
right. Well, the gate, being able to access that compound is, at night is troublesome.
Well,
Okay,
and lighting too, yeah.
Last meeting, we talked about the purchasing a utility bed for the Dodge Ram.
Yeah,
Are we at a point where we're ready to discuss doing
Yes.
that, or?
yes. I sent to you guys,
Last meeting, we got the,
yeah, and I sent you guys the quote that Spanos actually just got. They're basically the same quotes, but they're just upgraded. Did you guys get the memo? It said, I sent it to you roughly around 3:30. It said quotes for truck cap.
Yes,
Okay, so what we found, it is difficult to find our third contractor, because the same, what Spanos has found is the same main manufacturer owns all these smaller smaller enterprises that actually install their work. So what we the one, we have one from Manassas, Leonard, and they'll install it in Manassas. Obviously there's a sales tax there, but it's $4,280. And if it's the exact same thing, can be installed at Trick trucks and cars for, where we at? 4,000, and right now it's at $4,458.36. But that price is being worked on right now, and maybe even lower. But basically for $4,500, we can have it installed and purchased for that price. And Trick trucks and cars is in Martinsburg. So the travel alone, obviously, for the same amount of cost, would be the same. We had it. He had other ones, and they all, Chris Chris kept saying that they all came back to that they're the same manufacturer around here. Everyone that he's called is like, well, this is who we use. So I don't know if this guy has the monopoly on caps or truck caps around here, but
Chris, I don't have the 3:30 email.
you don't.
No.
Did I not?
Neither.
Then somehow me just embarrass myself and make sure that I did send it.
I just remember receiving some prices for that cap. And so I still have when we get done with this subject, I still have a question about the sludge. But we'll wait.
I didn't
Till
send
we
it.
get done with this.
I'm sorry. Here, I'm sending it now.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry about that.
Are you sending it to all of us?
Yes, I am. It's
Okay,
being
good.
sent to the Water Commission
Great.
and to Deb. It should be sent to you too, Deb.
I got it. So just so you know, I mean, it's important that the attempt be made to obtain 3 bids, but
Oh.
if there are circumstances under which 3 are not obtainable, that is not always a crisis. It's just
Yeah.
important that you document the reasoning and then, there's things that we need to do, but it's not the end of the world. So
Okay.
if you're, yeah.
And by the Water Commission meeting, town council meeting, I'm sure we can find somebody in wherever. But it's you can ask Chris Spanos. He's been working very diligently on.
What we need you to do is document what Chris said about the research that he did and
I will.
include that with this, please.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Do we, does anybody else have any questions for Chris about the truck cap?
I think I see that the second place clearly says installed, and so they're giving an installed price. But the first place, it says labor included, but does that mean installed? This is the installed price?
Yes, it does mean installed as well. He was on the phone with both of them, and they're both sending quotes back to make sure. But when I left, they were in the process of resending me an email. But the prices, the price is not any different. If anything, it's going to be lower. So for again. $4,500 would be would cover everything, and it's probably going to be a few $100s less, or I'm sure it's going to be a few $100s less. I just
So
we weren't able to get the quote.
why do you think it's going to be a few $100s less?
Because because the guy doing the quote said so. The guy working on the quote for trick trucks.
Well, I'm just wondering, why did he send this quote if he's saying, I mean,
because Chris didn't have all the details worked out with him last time he talked with him, and it was done by email, and this time when he talked to him, because I had him ask a few more questions, that's why he called him back, was first off, I need to know if this included installation, and that was one of the questions that he hadn't answered for me clearly. So when he called him back, he found out that the guy said, I'll send you another quote and also one without the tax on it. And
okay, so that's the one we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, it's supposed to be lower than the $458 for 458, but again, I'm saying if we ask for $4,500, that would cover everything. That's all.
Well, you know, I mean, I feel
And
better.
the
if
only
we had-
problem is right now with the way that we have things going, we can't hold these prices. Things are changing. As a matter of fact, my prices on my lab work, I just received something today. We can't even guarantee how long they can even hold these cabs. So when there's an article or something I need, like a pump or anything right now, that I know I'm going to need in the future, I go ahead and purchase it because we don't know how long they're going to be there. So delaying this right now would only ensure that we may not get it in the future. And we'd have to start the process all over again if you delayed it.
Deb? Deb's got her hand up. There she is.
All right, so my thoughts on this, since this is a financial matter, is that in the very near future, we are going to be experiencing a budget revision. There are a lot of very expensive things that are going to be changing in the water budget. From my recollection, which I am not in the office, so I do not have my notes on the water budget, but I do not recall that this was something that we approved specifically in the water budget when it was approved last time. And so regardless, it's $4,000, $4,500, regardless of whether you approve it now, you don't have it. I do not, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not recall planning for this when we planned this fiscal year's budget. So it's enough money and it makes a severe enough impact that you really need a budget revision to address it. And that's all going to be happening in the next imminently, because of the sludge removal proposal, because of your issue with your chemicals, because of plant materials, because of laboratory issues, laboratory cost issues. So my suggestion would be that you get these bids finalized, and as a part of the budget revision that we put forth to recommend to the council, this bid is included in that, as long as it can be afforded in the budget.
And we have time to have a special meeting on if obtaining this is an urgent matter, in the sense that if we don't act quickly, we're not going to get one. We have the opportunity between now and the next town council meeting to quickly meet to vote on a finalized bid to recommend to them. And after looking at what the sludge removal potential is going to be, we probably should wait till the budget's revised to kind of get a better handle on what our fiscal future is going to look like. So I think that maybe we can table this and until you get a finalized bid, and then we meet and vote on that.
And I fully expect that the budget revision will probably happen in the next couple of weeks. I'm imagining sort of happening all sort of simultaneously.
Quickly, it has to happen quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, hopefully not like Monday, but yeah, like to go on vacation.
So,
Thanks,
The-
Deb.
Does that make sense to everyone?
tomorrow is the next the special town council meeting,
Yes, but
Tomorrow, yes. Mhm.
tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
yes.
Okay, well, why did that sound to you, Chris?
I guess is all I'm going to do is I could probably call Chris up right now and get the proposal from these people. Is that all you want? I mean, because that's all that's all I have.
You're missing the point.
I guess I am. I guess I'm totally missing. the
This
point.
is $4,500.
Yes,
it
I
is
understand
not-
that part.
Okay, I'm gonna finish the sentence now. It is not budgeted.
I
You
understood
can't.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then it requires a budget revision.
Okay.
So you can't, we can't produce a budget revision in the next 24 hours. You and I talked today about all the things that need to be revised.
Yeah,
in the
I
budget.
didn't
And
realize that.
so
Yeah,
that
I had
this
no
can
idea.
be part of it.
Yeah.
This can be part of the budget revision. We can build it into that. I mean, and as
Okay.
long as there's enough money for everything that we need to do, and if there's not, then you all have priorities to choose from, and then that gets recommended and goes to the council. And I envision that happening within the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's gonna be, I think out of necessity for many reasons, not this is not even one of them. It will be coming forth.
I mean, you know what? We may have to cut corners on everything if it gets down to it. I mean, we can't cut any more corners on manpower. We're down to nothing. So if we got to if we got to cut back, we got to cut back.
Well, that's a matter of budgeting, and that's for another discussion when we have a budget meeting. I'm just saying that this is too much money for you to just say, okay, we're going to approve to spend it, because it was not budgeted for in your budget. If you were
Okay.
talking about
I thought we
$1,000,
had it. I thought we had it in the vehicle maintenance. I apologize. I really did. Or I wouldn't
Well,
even, I wouldn't
again-
even brought it up, to be honest with you. Had I not known that
Well, we've
we
been-
had it, I would have never even brought it up.
we've been talking about this for a couple of months, and
Yeah, but
it's never been, I didn't know what, I mean, I do not recall this being part of what we specifically budgeted for.
it
So-
never was, because it never was. The whole
Okay,
situation
well-
changed.
Well, let
Yes,
me just
so,
explain that if you are looking at purchasing a big ticket item like this in a fiscal year, it's important when we build the budget or whenever we revise it because of such need becoming apparent, that we notate that as part of what we're building into the budget. So that we're all
Understandable.
aware that that's what that money's sitting there for. Just like when we had the oh my goodness, the contracted
Well-
services, the plant maintenance for the sludge removal. We have a line that sits right next to us and says, we put in $50,000 for the sludge removal. That's what's in this line item. $25,000 up here on this line is for the contracted services to put in the early warning detection system. So
what
need
did
to
we do with the
notate it
truck?
that
What did
way.
we do with the $65,000 truck? How do we
Yeah,
do that?
It's in capital outlay.
Okay.
The
That's a
payments-
monthly amount anyway.
Yeah,
That's-
it's in capital
Okay.
outlay. Mhm. And it is
But
notated there.
I understand, Deb, I totally understand this. Me have gone and changed the budget multiple times over this year. So
Well, we have not made a budget revision this year in this budget, in this fiscal
yet.
year.
Right.
no,
Not
okay.
once.
Wow, really, we haven't this year.
No, this fiscal year started in July. We have not made one budget revision yet.
Man, this year
Well,
has
I think,
flown.
Chris, you know what, it's just, you're lucky that the sludge removal might require a budget revision, so this might be part of that. So it's sort of all coming at the same time here.
That's the
There
point I'm
are a lot
making.
of moving pieces right now.
Right? There sure are, man.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
I-
Okay. All right. So Chris, get the revised bid for what it's actually going to cost.
Yeah,
And then we'll go
it
from
should-
there.
It
Okay.
should say exactly what it is. It should say what it includes on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, whatever it turns
will.
out to be, we just need to get that.
Okay.
Okay.
So can I ask my question about the sludge? So
Sure.
is this new, the fact that Alvarez was able to get their measurements, which was the great push to get this done, is this affecting the recent RFP that we sent out where for sludge removal?
No, it's not, is it?
Well,
Well,
that's my
I think the
question.
question she's asking, Chris, is sort of the same question I asked, is that because Alvarez has been able to get the measurements, do we still have an urgent need to, excuse me, an urgent need to remove the sludge at a more expensive way? Or do we
can
have time for
just-
Oscar to do it?
Yes, exactly.
What I found out with this, the removal that we did, this massive amount of sludge, and we had no idea how much sludge was actually on top of those valves. And when we put that steel plate, we thought we were just gonna la-di-da, just go in there and pump, run a pump over to the other side, which was already maxed out, almost maxed out, not maxed out, but getting there. And it took all day with a 50 gallon pump, and we never actually did see the valves. We used some devices to get down to there, push through the sludge, because we were running out of room. Oscar cannot handle the volume that we're talking about. This 76,000 gallons of sludge. It can't handle it.
All right, Deb.
So I think, I'm not sure if this is what Laurel's question is, but this is what I am thinking about with regard, especially that we have the progress meeting tomorrow. I think part of what we need to ask tomorrow is about what you were saying before. How long do we have before we really need to have those pits clean? I'm getting concerned about the fact that, Chris expresses that even in 40-degree temperatures, he's experiencing a slowdown with Oscar. And so after reviewing the bids today, which all that'll become apparent in the meeting tomorrow, but the bottom line is that it's all based on speed of moving that sludge. And the longer it takes us to move the sludge, the more money it's going to cost us. And it is an open-ended question, even though we have an estimated total cost. And so I think that's one of the questions that I want to make sure we get answered tomorrow is what is our sense of urgency with that? I mean, if we are able to wait until the spring when the weather warms up, we may be looking at saving ourselves tens of thousands of dollars. And from what I can see. So is that the question that you were asking, Laurel?
Yeah, I think you stated it well, and Bill stated it well.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we want to know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Right.
I was hoping spring as well. I mean, they were talking June.
Okay.
The first scheduled date for having it completely removed. Now with all the delays, I don't know the exact final day. That's all.
I think Laurel, at the end of the day, we're going to have to find out tomorrow, get the people doing the work to give us some sort of a hard and fast date idea so that we can make better decisions about sludge removal. Because if we have the luxury of time, both from a temperature standpoint, if we can do this, if we could do the same thing we're doing now, but at a warmer time, it will cost us less. And if we have enough time, we may not even have to do this the way we've currently contemplated. So, we'll be able to make better decisions. And that's kind of been the problem all along, is that, we need all the information, and that date has been elusive. And so hopefully they'll be able to tell us tomorrow at the meeting.
And handily, we're having that meeting tomorrow, and then we have the council meeting tomorrow night. So that's perfect.
Well, yeah. Well,
okay.
This is
Thank you.
running
That's
the gauntlet
great.
on this thing.
Right?
Sludge
Back
gauntlet.
to back.
Okay. So, anything else on that?
It's a lot of sludge. That's all I got to say. It's a lot of sludge.
Financials with our town financial officer, Deb.
Okay, so your financials this evening are for the end of September 2021, which is 3 months into our fiscal year for 2022. That's 25% of the year. We've received, installed, and paid for the equipment for the early warning detection system. I have filed for reimbursement through our grant request with the state. This set of financials, however, only represents the expenses and not the reimbursement that we're awaiting. So our revenue, as reported, is 22% of the budget, and we were to have received reimbursement. If we were to have gotten reimbursement in the month of September, then that would have bumped it up to 24%, and so that would have been right on track. And our expenses are running right now at 21.5% of our budgeted number. So that's also looking good. The purchase of that particular equipment for that early warning detection system falls into line item 620.3 plant materials and supplies. And that one-time annual purchase of 25,600 bumped us up a little over 100% as a result. And so this, along with the plant chemicals, the sludge removal, the truck, what is that, utility bed thing, Bob, and a couple other things are pushing us to this budget revision, which I've started to work on. But every time I start to work on it, I'm like, well, I really need this answer and I really need that answer. And so I've kind of just not gotten anywhere too far along with it. But once we get through this sludge removal issue, and I've given Chris some reports to look at so that he can start preparing projections on the areas of the budget that are kind of moving targets for him. Then we will look to we'll get some timing advice tomorrow too on when we need to get this budget pulled together, revision pulled together, and we'll get that moving in the right direction. There also may be some items in plant materials and supplies that can be moved to other parts of the budget. They might just have been misappropriated. So that's something that Chris is going to be looking at. Let's see. I think that's every little thing I have there about the water budget. Was there any questions specifically from anyone on that?
I could probably sit down with you for hours and going over this stuff, which we'll probably be doing, won't we?
I'm good.
Okay, and I kind of covered the revision just in that little paragraph there. You know, it all needs to happen, and it needs to happen pretty soon. But really, the sludge removal is the tipping thing that we've got to get sorted before we can dig into anything else. So hopefully after tomorrow, I will be on vacation next week, but soon this will get moving in the right direction. All right. Anything else on that? So the next thing is that ACH module, and just as an update, we have that moving along with Kuzi. We've officially made the purchase. We've made that through our credit that we had on account. All that paperwork's been signed, and I've talked with the bank, and they are getting ready. They are ready to, you know, receive our test that'll be generated from that module. So we're aligned there. And so it's just a matter of, I think, once Angie gets back in and we need to do some scheduling with Kuzi to install the module and then start working with it. And so we anticipated that would happen in the month of December. So we're on track with that. Still looking at some type of a test in January with a handful of folks. And then hopefully, if things are progressing well, maybe in our February billing, you could send out an insert that would announce that to the public, and we can get some people getting there.
You can sign me up.
Yeah. Well, can we sign you up for a guinea pig?
Yes.
All right. So hopefully then, yeah, I'm hoping by February we can start really letting the public use it. So.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on that? Okay.
I don't think so. That's exciting.
All right.
It's like we're moving into the 21st century.
I hope so. Trying.
Okay. Water system water system improvement project update. It's a lot of words. Plant renovation update. We have our next progress meeting tomorrow. Do you have something for that, Christy?
I don't have anything, but the question, I think, we have the RPR thing. I don't know if that's where this should be done, but we're gonna be running out of time on that RPR. Do we have how that's gonna be set up?
So according to the most recent correspondence, we're like running on fumes currently. I think it expires at the end of this month. And that currently is in the hands of the mayor. He's been apprised of it, and he's the signatory on the modification of the contract anyway. So I have not gotten any marching orders for us from the mayor or the town council as far as to what next steps are. But we are certainly staring down the barrel of potentially significantly more money for the contract. And we may need to, once the mayor's had his conversations, I think we may be needing to consider setting up a different arrangement with the RPR as far as how his time is allocated. Whether it's a part-time or a full-time, just so we can try and control those costs. Because now we're at a higher price point. Well, once the contract money is fully exhausted, we will be at a higher price point, and the second half will cost more than the first half. So we want to avoid that. And based on the correspondence from Chris Eckenrode, it kind of sounds like there's some opportunities for us to, tighten up a little bit and get a better handle on those costs. And we're not gonna be able to avoid them completely because we have to have inspections and that sort of thing. But we may be able to wrestle those down a little bit. So that at that point, I think the water commission will be needing to kind of evaluate how we do that.
The only thing I can see happening is that if someone's not on there on a regular basis, when something comes up, then there's going to be a delay until it gets resolved. So that's the only issue I can see coming up.
Yeah, well, it definitely. I mean, if we went to part-time, because the nice thing about having him there full-time is that anytime anything in the scope of his duties pops up, he's there to deal with it. And if we have to go part-time, it'll require us to coordinate more tightly with the construction guys as far as the points of absolute necessity that we need him there. It's we'll see what comes loose from what the mayor's discussions come up with.
He's awfully busy right now, I can tell you that. I mean,
have we talked to them about the RPR and Eckenrode to see if he's part-time, do we have any control over that, what part-time that is? Because he's
that discussion hasn't happened yet. So Deb.
That also may be part of what we can just kick around a little bit tomorrow. So
yeah,
just on information gathering.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure out what the future looks like and what options we do have, how much control we do have over those costs. So, because it's keeping me up at night. We're all aware of it, but we're still trying to get all the information. The distribution system update, the Elks Run is, we have not launched that request for bids yet. We're still in the onboarding process with the software that we're going to be issuing the bid through, but also given the sludge proposals received and all of that, and the pending budget revision, we may I'm not sure what the fiscal lay of the land looks like in the short term for that. So the sludge is sort of the sticking point for most everything else that comes out of our operating budget. And we have an item of new business. At the September progress meeting for the construction, it came up that there's an issue regarding the Ach DR 3900 spectrophotometer that it was inadvertently left out of the contract or something to that effect. It wasn't really clear. And the mayor has asked that we figure out what exactly happened and why it happened and whether we need it and all of that. So, and I've talked with Chris a little bit about that. Our current unit is functional. It's 10 years old. And I went back through all the bid documents, and there's no reference in the bid documents to a spectrophotometer. So I'm not sure what it got left out of and when it got left out. And the reason that's important is because, you know, whether we pay for this out of operating funds or whether we do it as a change order and pay for it through the renovation project, all of those decisions are contingent on the facts. And I don't feel like we really have all the facts. So, and the mayor echoed that at the last town council meeting and asked if the water commission would figure out what's going on. So that's where we are with that.
No.
Well,
I tried getting hold of Chris Eckenrode today. He must have been busier or busy. I thought we were. The only thing I can tell you is he had a list of lab equipment that he had specifically set up to have our new lab be equipped with. And on that list was I can't say the word, the DR9
spectrophotometer.
Yes, I was not there on the day that Chris Vanos was called by GDNF, and they went through the list of lab equipment that was needed. Again, I had been on the first call, and thank God I made sure that a few of the things were thank God were put on there, like the turbidity meter and stuff like that, were, you know, must items. I was unaware that when it came down to the DR9 3900, the one that's 10 years old, that according to Ach is at its shelf life, at its end of its cycle. And I wanted that 3900 to be replaced because it is a valuable tool in our lab that we use every day. And without it would make it challenging to do an important lab work that is crucial to the safety of the drinking water.
can you tell me, Chris, can you just mention a couple of things that you do with this, that mention?
For example, in the future, one of the things that it's going to be testing is it will be testing. We'll be using permanganate, and we'll be testing for manganese, which requires certain chemicals such as cyanide, and just a couple of complex chemicals that it analyzes. It does barcoding for we can get things for like such as fluoride testing, where we can get more accurate testing, but there's going to be acid test and
well, wait a minute.
Other testing that in the future with the new membrane system, we'll be utilizing a more the permanganate that I'm referring to is for taste and odor, and it's something that we used in the past and used the 3900 for testing for manganese and iron when we're using permanganate, and
So let me get this straight. You test,
We use it
you
for
use that
chlorine.
chemical in the water and then you test to make sure that it has the right amount.
We make sure that there's no manganese, yes, and that there's no manganese in our system or high amounts of iron. It's one
Okay,
of the
so
tests
that's
that are,
what you're using it
it's
every day for. Every day you go
that
and you make a water test and you're looking for those chemicals to make sure they're not there.
that's what we'll be using in the future. Again, when we're using the permanganate, when we start up, and we used to use permanganate when we were using the Potomac in the past. For example, when I had to use it for a pilot study for the Paul system that we're putting in. So what I'm saying is it's more going to be, it's going to be doing more important tests than it's doing right now. Like right now, I'm basically only using it for chlorine, pH, and fluoride. But it can provide so many more tests that are going to be required, or not like multiple tests are going to be required, but daily tests that we're going to have to test for.
Okay,
Because
thank
we're
you.
adding new chemicals to our
Right,
raw
Okay.
water system, and to our drinking side as well.
that's clearer. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. The thing could last for another 5 years. I have no idea, or it could die tomorrow. The reason I wanted it in there was because it's being, I guess, covered by the USDA and loan, and it would be if we didn't have the loan, it probably, it'd probably be some time before we would purchase it.
Okay. All right. Deb.
So the way I understand this is that the question in hand is whether in fact it is covered by the USDA loan, and whether if it is not currently covered by the USDA loan, which is more and more what I'm hearing because it is not part of the contract, then we have to decide whether, or the council has to decide whether they want to use contingency money for it, or they want it to come out of the operating budget. And so what I hear you saying is that the testing that you anticipate being with greater frequency from this piece of equipment would begin to occur after the new water treatment plant is in operation. Is that correct?
Everything except that at the last progress meeting, they did indeed say that it was covered by the USDA loan.
The
Well,
guys
it is
at
not in the contract.
The guys at the progress meeting don't get to decide that. So the issue came to a point maybe last week before last. Chris Eckenrode wanted to know right away if the mayor was okay with the purchase, with the change order. We don't, to my knowledge, we don't have a change order yet.
No, we do not.
So that was a little squirrely. Usually you get a change order before you're asked to approve it. And
I agree with that. I thought that was
and it is a little bit more expensive to get it underneath, to get it through the contract. They want to do,
yes, it is.
They proposed a change order to add it to the contract. And they asserted that it was somehow left out. And so I looked and in the bid, and it's not there. So if they asked Spanos when they were putting the bid together, this is a couple of years ago. So I'm not sure. And the mayor was uncomfortable with the gaps in the timeline of how we came to the point that we'd concluded this had been left out of the contract. Does that make sense? So the mayor wanted to know, upon being, sort of demanded his approval for a change order, that he A, get the change order, and B, understand how we got to this point. And that was the sort of our marching orders, was to figure that out. Now, you
Yeah.
told me that they talked to Ag and Road talked to Spanos, and Spanos said, we already have one.
Yeah,
And-
so this conversation, we wouldn't even be in this conversation right now had it not been for that conversation. You're absolutely correct.
Well, that all was put together, that was put together several years ago, quite frankly, when the bid went into session, into activeness at the end of December, a review might have been appropriate, because when it was first pulled together years ago, it was a long time ago. So, for Spanish to have said, yes, we have one back then might not have been a big deal. Now it's aged 5 more years. So that's a different story. And, so whatever, that's at this point, it's really irrelevant. But it does sound like a decision at some point, it may need to be made as to where that money comes from. And if it needs to come out of the operating budget, again, that's something that's going to require a budget revision. And
Okay.
and I know Laurel has her hand up, but I want to just say something. And that's because it's $6,000, Chris. You can't just say, oh, where does it come from? And I heard this, I want to make sure that I keep hearing at the progress meeting a phrase that I think maybe you're hearing too, when you talk with the contractors, like, oh, it can be part of the budget of the project, or we can make it in the project. If it is not currently under contract, it is not part of the USDA budget. And if we want to make it part of that, it requires a change order that's approved by council, and the money will come out of our contingency money.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought this whole process was going to be. This is what I was told it was going to be, that a change order was going to be made out, and that it was going to go back into the USDA loan, but it needed to go through town council. What you just said there is exactly how I thought the whole transaction was going to happen. But
well, I'm just going
apparently
to
it
tell
didn't.
you that I'm the person who sends paperwork back and forth between the USDA and Region 9 and the mayor. I have never seen one change order ever.
Okay, and then I mean that it's in Chris Eckenrode's hands on that one then.
Okay. All right, Laurel.
Well, so when you, Deb, when you said the money would come out of the contingency, you mean the USDA contingency fund?
Oh, yes. That's right. I mean, of course, we
That
have
money.
yeah, that's right.
The money
Out of
that
that.
has not been promised, because it was not part of the bid project, but it's still the money. There's an amount of money that is part of the 6 million that we borrowed.
Okay, wait a minute. Now you're talking different things. Okay, so in the budget that we have, that the contractors are operating with, there is a contingency fund. I don't have the number on top of my head, but I want to say it's somewhere around $250,000, $300,000. It's a percentage of the total bid amount for the contract itself, which was 5.5. And it started out at 10 and it went down to 5 once it got contracted. So 250 would be about right. Is that right, Bill?
Yeah, it's like 253 or something like
Right.
that.
That is after the loan is closed. It has nothing to do with the soft cost reimbursement that the town received from costs that were paid in advance of the loan being executed. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. And so those are 2 different pots of money. The contingency is part of the contract, and a change order inside of the construction project, just like if you were having your house built and you had a contingency fund and there needed to be a change order, that money would come out of that because it's part of that loan money that's been set
Okay,
aside.
What if the contingency money is not used? Then
Well,
where does
then
it
that,
go?
well, if it's not used, then I believe it may end up coming to us. I'm not 100% sure. The way this contract is going, I don't see it not being used, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But it certainly could be used for this in the end. If it was left over, that would be a great way, you know?
Well, then the contingency fund is half of what it originally was required to be.
Mhm.
Was that a function of the interest rate?
No, it had something to do with, when the loan was finalized and when the contract was finalized, then it was able to be cut in half. I can't remember the exact stipulation, but it had something to do with that timing.
Right, but it's loan funds that are
Yes,
set
it's loan
aside
funds.
in
Yes,
case that we have to keep aside in case there's construction overruns. And I know of one that's going to be potentially close to $100,000. So I would not anticipate that contingency surviving the construction project.
and what
Okay.
Bill's talking about is the extra money that we need for the RPR. That's where that's going to come from.
Right. So
Yeah,
contingencies
okay.
for things that you didn't foresee. And
Yeah, I understand that. So
okay,
so basically this spectrophotometer costs could come from that contingency possibly.
Sure. Yeah. And I guess the reason I was asking about when the increased frequency and increased complexity of its use was going to be required, if that was going to be when the project was complete and not necessarily tomorrow, even though I know that there are changing demands in the market, you know, there's so much still unknown in front of us with this project. The RPR being a small, just one, but with a big ticket next to it. And so while it certainly is important, perhaps the time to make the decision might not be right now. That's the point I'm making.
with the construction complexity and scope, having only $250,000 in contingency is almost like high wiring without a net. I mean,
I understand, guys. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Okay.
If it breaks, it breaks.
well,
I mean, we'll have to get a new one if you know, if it breaks, we'll have to get a new one regardless.
right. But it's important that we understand how, you know, how to
I
allocate
knew,
that purchase.
yeah. No,
And
I understand. I understand. I knew when this whole situation happened, when I found out about it, that I wasn't going to be able to get it. I knew it, and I understand why. I totally understand why, and I don't want to waste any more of your time with it.
okay,
Okay.
all right. Staffing and commission. We have old business regarding the OIT hiring process, and where that is we've received a fair number of resumes, and we've kind of culled through them, and at some point we're going to get together with you, Chris, and go through them at town hall.
Yeah, I looked at them. I looked at them today, and
Oh.
I liked a few of them that you had picked, and you know, I obviously, you apparently you screened out what we needed screened out. So I was informed that there were.
There was a lot of stuff to screen.
Yes. Yeah, to put it nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So you've already, did you give the mayor your thoughts on?
I haven't, I haven't had time.
Okay.
I had an incident report and quite a few other things.
Okay. But
Yeah.
that we are well on the way to setting up some interviews and moving forward.
Yeah, I'll brief them tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So at this point, David, are you still with us?
David, you're muted.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, we're about to go into executive session. So at this point, it's probably rather than you sitting in a lobby by yourself, I think it's probably the rest of your evening is yours.
Thank you.
And then we'll see you at the town council meeting at the beginning of December.
Okay,
And I'll reach out to you before then, and we'll chat about what the town council meeting is going to be and all that kind of stuff.
okay. I
All right,
appreciate it.
fantastic. Thank you for coming tonight and for your commitment to the town.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Yeah, thank you, David.
you have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
We,
Okay.
I guess before we do that, we kind of went past kind of fast, faster than I was paying attention. I apologize. What is about the distribution system update? What about the 8-inch main project? Is there been any progress on that project?
Where we are on that is that we are in the process of onboarding with a software. Well, it's a portal, a web portal for public bidding, and which will give us considerably greater reach as far as vendors and with a considerably less effort. And it will
Awesome.
remove most of our issues with fully completing bids and things like that. It requires, the system will require people to complete things in order to move on and to submit.
Yeah, I
And-
know. I know all about that, but
Okay.
so where does this project stand as far as we know we want to get it done soon? So what?
We're waiting on two things. First, we're waiting to get fully up and running on, we have our next training session, I want to say at the end of the month. And then we can start thinking about going live with a real bid. And we're also awaiting the budget revision, because that's going to impact how we, when we can start that as well. And part of that is waiting on the status of the status and cost of the sludge removal, because that's kind of the highest priority right now, or it has been. Whether it remains that or not, we'll hopefully find out tomorrow.
But how does that affect the 8-inch main? Because we already have money for the 8-inch main. Why did you bring that up in connection with the sludge removal?
Deb?
Because the reason he brought that up is that both of those items are now part of our annual operating budget. Because the distribution system is to be paid for using the additional cash that's generated from the price increase and the lower interest rate that is agreed to in the loan. And so when we built our budget, the 8-inch main is a line item on that budget. Now, and so yes, we do have about $250,000 of soft cost money sitting out there. And when we built the budget and we put in the $80,000 for the main and we put in $50,000 for the sludge removal, we had a negative number at the bottom of our budget. And therefore we pulled into the income line a certain amount of money, which again, I don't have it in front of my face right now, but I want to say, oh, actually I do have it right here. I want to say it's maybe about, $30,000 or something like that. It's not on here, but we're bringing that in from the soft cost reimbursement from the loan, from the closing of the loan. And so if the sludge removal becomes $150,000 project by the time all is said and done, it completely changes the scope of the budget.
Okay, I certainly see that.
Okay.
But
I mean,
there's other, like we're gonna use the ARPA money for.
That will offset some of it.
Absolutely. Yep. Mhm.
But in order to make that's not the only thing that's expensive, more expensive than we thought it was going to be. So we've got some big ticket items that we weren't counting on. And some of them are going to require some forensic work to parse out what the USDA loan is for and what has to come out of our operating budget, and potentially. So we have quite a bit of financial sorting before I'm comfortable, and I think the budget is comfortable forging ahead with that. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have some clarity on the sludge issue and what that will be, what kind of a bite that's going to take out of us in the near term.
Yeah,
And
we
depending on
haven't-
how that
I'm
comes
sure we'll
out,
get a
yeah,
lot
we
of
haven't even
information.
talked about security when this whole thing is done. Security and cameras and
Yeah.
the whole process of calibrating all the equipment yearly. We're gonna have to have a contract on that.
well,
these
so
are all things-
we've got a lot, but right now in the short term, we've got, we have the overage with the RPR, and we've got the sludge removal, and
I mean, I see the sludge removal is a big item, and we don't even know how big, but
well, it's a big question mark though too. So if the
yeah,
sludge,
I realize that, but this is an emergency situation that we've always regarded it as an emergency situation with the 8-inch main. And we also have a pretty good idea of the cost of it because we've already bid it out and seen a bid. So we have a better idea more about that particular project than probably any of the other projects.
well, and as soon as we get up and running, barring any real train wrecks on the budget side, as soon as we get up and running on the public bidding platform, we should get that bid out.
Well, I think that sounds good as long as it doesn't take too long to get this public bidding thing going, because right now you were able to put out, or we were able to put out an RFP on sludge removal, and we did that without the public bidding thing. We didn't have to wait for the training and for all that to put it in place and get it going. We put out the RFP and we received bids. So I mean,
But
this is a
we can also
apples
do
and
that with
oranges,
the
Laurel.
8-inch main.
Those two things are not even remotely comparable from a public procurement standpoint. The complexity alone of the two projects is astoundingly different. And part of the problem we had sufficient vendors within our reach. Last time with the 8-inch main project, we only had one, and so we would like to get multiples. And one of the key benefits of using the online public procurement system is it allows us to reach vendors that we're not reaching through the typical, through an ad in the Spirit. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I do see the reason why we're doing this, but I really would hate to see 6 months down the road it still hadn't been done yet. I think sometimes things get put off and they get put off and they get put off. Well, we're going to do this, and I just really, I guess I just want to make a comment just for the record. Let's not, I'm sure you don't want this to be delayed. I don't want to see this delayed more than you're talking about 1 month for training. Let's not delay this. I think we all agree that this isn't a project that needs to get done. And if this public bidding thing is taking too long, then we need to move ahead with it. That's all I want to say.
okay.
Would agree
Do
with
we
that.
need, I guess we should go into, is executive session necessary for the representative discussion? The Bolivar rep? I guess so.
Oh, no, what?
No?
Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
Does anybody have anything they want to say other than making a motion to approve David as a to recommend to the town council? Christie?
I enjoyed reading his resume. I like the idea when someone has a resume that doesn't follow the usual. I think he's gonna be a quick enough learner in all this. The fact that he knows how to write is a real plus. Assuming you're gonna be looking for a good minute taker.
There you go.
But I have no problem with recommending that we give a recommendation of approval to the town council.
All right. Is
Right.
that a motion, Christie?
Okay, I move that we recommend to the town council that the Bolivar representative that has been
Put forth.
nominated by the Bolivar Town Council, that we recommend that our town council approve it.
Second. All those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
All right. Now we do need to go into executive session.
And so who is going in? Just the commissioners?
Yep.
Okay. I'm
And
sending it.
it's employment matters. I don't have that in front of me. I should have.
Have sent an email to you for an alternate meeting for you to join.
Okay.
Do you want me to wait here?
Chris, you can probably just go. Because
Okay.
this is the last thing we need to do.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening, Chris. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Chris. Okay.
So Laurel, you're gonna join the other, there she goes. Good job. All right. Minute. What's going on?
Hi. I didn't make a motion yet.
Oh,
I got all excited because you sent me the
I'm-
link and then I was like, oops.
all right. And I didn't see, let's make sure that everybody knows what they're doing because I did not see Laurel circle get in there. So I don't know where
All right.
she is now.
Well, Christy should be coming back. There
Here
she
comes
is.
Christy. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Laurel though.
Well, I mean, I guess theoretically Christy and I can handle this and then we go back and pick up Laurel.
I'm gonna send her another invitation.
do
Um,
you
but-
have the number? Do you have the number, I mean, the phrasing for the going into executive session?
I do.
Okay,
All right, I move that we enter executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code, Section 6-9A-4B-2A, for employee matters.
I second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
All
So
right, see you later.
we'll see.
I sent her another email.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I
Bye.
don't know. Okay. Hang on, I'm just trying to get Laurel in for you. Oh, here she comes. Everybody's muted.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Deb.
Good night, thank you.